Hello there! Happy Star Wars Day and welcome back to Diego Collects. For those of you who may be hearing my annoying voice for the first time, hi! I'm Diego and I collect Star Wars action figures from the Vintage Collection, the Black Series, 1/6 scale, and many more. You can follow me at Diego Collects on Instagram and TikTok. Come and join me in this awesome hobby. For today, I'll be once again taking you on a tour around my entire collection in what I envision to be annual collection updates. So without further ado, sit back, relax, and enjoy the tour. Starting off with the edge of my room, we got some various carded vintage collection figures. So ranging from TVC 1.0, 2.0, and some vintage original trilogy collection figures. They are in dire need of some star cases. Unfortunately, they're a bit hard to come by here in Southeast Asia. But if you guys know anyone in the region who would know how I can come across some easily, then please definitely let me know. This is some yellowing, especially on the older VOTC stuff. But just some standout cards for me and some essential characters just to represent some things and some characters that I love in Star Wars as a whole. Then moving on to the left of that, we have, as I said in the previous tour, the highlight of my collection, which is the Skywalker Saga in action figure form. So the first two trilogies are in 3.75-inch scale, while the sequels are in 6-inch. That's because I did start off collecting with the 3.75 scale. But come The Force Awakens, the figures in that scale that they offered were just not great, so I started collecting Black Series for the newer films. I know it may be odd to some to be collecting both scales in the same display, but I don't mind it too much. And it works since the sequels are at the bottom. They're a bit further away from the eye, so it works for me. And at the bottom, we have some odds and ends. I put some bigger items at the bottom, just so you don't have to slouch down to enjoy something. So at the top of that, in front of the A New Hope poster, some odds and ends, mostly some micro Galaxy Squadron vehicles, some ships that I really like, and I do intend to collect more of them. It's just that they're not that high a priority, but I do intend to have more in the future. Got the Lego Trench Run over there, and at the center of it, you got my Black Series Vader helmet, and in front of them, representing the three generations, the three trilogies, we got Anakin, Luke, and Rey. And this is the Black Series Force FX Luke lightsaber. Beginning the saga with A New Hope. Just heads up, so most of these are the same, not much has changed. But I got some interesting new additions, mainly the newer TVC Luke and Leia, and they look really good. It feels great to now have some updated main characters, and I'm looking forward to the upcoming Obi-Wan and Han Solo from this line. It's just bringing you through it. Cantina aliens, rebel soldiers, rebel fleet troopers, Han and Luke in disguise, Han and Luke from the medal ceremony, more Cantina aliens, Tusken Raider and the Jawa, Uncle Owen, Aunt Beru, and Biggs from the deleted scene, and Rebel pilots now with the newer TVC Luke. And we have the mains over here. Still my favorite Star Wars movie, just a classic film overall. Next, we got The Empire Strikes Back. Luke on his Tauntaun with a Wampa. Vader's meditation chamber. Got Luke and Ben and Yoda as they appeared in Dagobah. Captain Nida and Admiral Ozzel, the ill-fated Imperial officers. Snowtrooper. The Rebel forces from Echo Base. At the edge here, we got a probe droid. This is the Power of the Force 2 version. And that snow environment comes from the Black Series Rey, the Kmart exclusive. We got the bounty hunters lined up here. Bespin escape Leia with Chewie carrying 3PO with some other Cloud City denizens. At the front, we got Boba Fett with his valuable bounty, Vader and Luke, Master Yoda. New edition, finally got Admiral Piet in the collection. It's been a long time coming. Some of you may argue he's not a main character to be put in front, but I'm just glad to finally have this guy. Han and Leia, and Lando. Now wrapping off the original trilogy with Return of the Jedi. This got changed just a little bit. So we got Jabba and his denizens with the main crew as they appeared in Jabba's palace at the back. More of Jabba's goons with Boba Fett on his jetpack. Some rebel pilots and rebel leaders. And moving down here, we got Luke on his speeder bike. Some of Palpatine's dignitaries. Moff Gigerod, a royal guard. Vader, Luke, and the Hazcon Palpatine with the throne. So unpopular opinion, I actually do like this Evolutions Vader better for an unmasked head sculpt. I think the new TVC one, is a lot more detailed, but I think this just captures the essence of a broken man who wasted his life in evil. I think it just captures the essence a lot more. And then at the front, the Andor strike team. Han, Leia, Chewie, some Ewoks, the Rebel soldier. And then over here, we got the 3 Force ghosts, Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Yoda, with Obi-Wan and Yoda being from the Power of the Force 3-pack, while the Anakin is the 30th anniversary Hayden Christensen figure. I do like, another unpopular opinion, I do like the Hayden Ghost a lot more. I think it's easier to connect the character to the man we see in the prequels, so we see the same face, and we see him finally happy, finally at peace. And behind them, we got some Ewoks at the catapult. So yeah, this display I've tried to segment more into the different settings, because we got Endor, we got the home one, and we got Tatooine and the Death Star. So I've done what I can to sort of segment them into the different distinct settings we get in the movie. On to the prequels with the Phantom Menace. Not much has changed here once again. But I think we got pretty good representation for the story of this movie. We got some Naboo characters here. Watto, Shmi, and all the gang that we see in Tatooine. We got the key to all this. And then the mains. And we got the Phantom Menace himself. On to Attack of the Clones. Now overseeing everything, we got the much needed updates to Dooku and Jango. Very happy to finally have those. And the rest of the display is just as I left it, with non-Geonosis characters here. And then perhaps some of my favorite things to collect, background Jedi. I do prefer the older Evolutions Anakin to the TVC one. I think the blonder hair, it's not accurate, but I think from a distance, it's a much closer reflection to his hair look than the darker one of the new. And then deep inside, hidden there, we do see Anakin and Padme trying to make their way out of the droid factory. And then closing off the prequel trilogy with Revenge of the Sith. Can you guys imagine almost 20 years since we got this masterpiece, since we got all our questions answered? Not much changed in terms of layout, but I'm using different risers for this. So we got at the back Dooku, some Separatists, Kiadi Mundi, Zachukasa, Holographic Plo Koon, Tion Medon, and Chewbacca with Tarful. We got Mace Windu and company, ready to rest Palpatine. Senator Organa and Padme. I do think this Bail Organa figure is really underrated. Not exactly the kind of character that would make a great action figure, but Hasbro, the guys at Hasbro definitely did a good job with him. Got the birth of Vader on the operating table, looming over Anakin fighting Obi-Wan. So you're going to see this sort of as a theme throughout the collection. I do like having characters loom over others, especially on this particular posing. Just love the idea that we're seeing the cause and effect, like Vader rising from the aftermath of this horrible confrontation. Epic scene, but a tragic event nonetheless. And then we got the TVC Grievous with Yoda facing Palpatine, and then Padme and Mustafar with a light up R2, and in my opinion, still the best 3PO figure. It'll never get as good as it was when we still got vac metalized figures. So that's it for the prequels. On to the sequels. I can't believe it's been 10 years since we got this new generation. Got Ray Speeder, the very famous, hard to come by figure, Constable Zuvio. I'm so glad to have this figure. Ultra rare, so hard to find. Everyone's after it. I'm kidding, of course. The Guabian Soldier, Enforcer, Resistance Trooper, Asti. Fun fact, you may not realize this is C-3PO. You just may not recognize him because of the red arm. Finn with Poe, Captain Phasma, Chewie, the bandage. This SHF Han is just amazing. Like, greatest likeness to Harrison Ford. And at the front, we got Hux, Kylo, Rey, Finn, BB-8, Maz Kanata, hiding her secret box. And at the back, the elusive Luke Skywalker. On to The Last Jedi. I did do quite a few rearranging. So starting at the back, we have all the characters as they appeared on Ahch-To, R2 and Chewie, with some Porgs, Rey, and Hermit Luke. And then we got the Jedi Master, Luke Skywalker, hovering over his Force projection with the ghost of Yoda right in front of him. It's just one of my favorite scenes in all of Star Wars, and I love the juxtaposition of Luke floating over his projection, or sort of the idealized version of him, the legend that everyone remembers. And we got some Resistance characters here. Akbar, that's the model kit, the Bandai model kit 3PO with Holdo and Poe. Got the other side there, some First Order troopers. This is the Walker pilot from the Disney ride from Rise of the Resistance. Awesome ride if you ever come up on Disney. One of the parks with Galaxy's Edge in it. But nowhere else to put him, so I put him here in The Last Jedi, and it works. In the front here, we got Snoke on his throne with General Hux. This is the Disney Parks exclusive. Some Praetorian guards. Finn, DJ, Rose, and the model kit BB-8. And at the center, we got the dyad themselves. Wrapping up the saga with the Rise of Skywalker. I'd like to tell you there have been updates, but Hasbro still likes to neglect this trilogy, but oh well. So we got Chewie, 3PO and BB-8. Remember the rumors when this figure was revealed? Dark Ray, the Knight of Ren, Kylo with his helmet on, Janna and Zori Bliss, and down here, Dio and Babu Frick. I got the Force Awakens Poe. I'm having him over here for lack of a Rise of Skywalker figure. A Force Awakens Maz. And R2. And we got over here a custom Tross Palpatine, Episode 9 Palpatine. Just some red fabric and Kylo Ren's belt on the 2014 figure. And then down here, you got the dyad themselves, Ben and Rey. So, for lack of a Ben Solo figure, just put the Force Awakens unmasked figure head on the Last Jedi body, and I gave him a blue lightsaber. It's not accurate at all, but it brings the point across. So Hasbro, where are the figures? Like, where's Finn? Where's Poe? Where's Ben Solo? Like, I'm ready to buy them. Oh yeah, and also at the back there we got this is the Bandai Emperor's Throne Room stage, which doesn't reflect the way it looks in this movie, but it doesn't really fit anywhere else in the collection. So I'm glad to have it there. Moving on to the next cabinet here. So some Hot Toys, some other stuff, Legos, and some odds and ends. So starting above that, we got the Force Spirits 3-pack in the box, except for Yoda, which is open in the Last Jedi display. The Jack-specific Darth Vader, and my favorite vehicle of all time, the Republic gunship, with some live-action ARC troopers on this side, and on the other side, some animated ones from the awesome ARC Trooper Battle Pack. Starting up here, we got some Hot Toys figures, the main cast of the original trilogy in 1/6 scale form. The Boba Fett is Sideshow though the rest are from, and Yoda are Sideshow, the rest are Hot Toys. And the major addition here, we finally have a C-3PO from Hot Toys. So we got the main OT cast finally complete. They look amazing together. I've moved most of my 1/6 scale figures to more narrower cabinets, which you'll see later on. But these guys, they just have to stay here because I'm so happy to finally have all of them. And they just look good together here. So I'll just keep them there. Moving down to my Vault edition of the Jedi Path and Luke's lightsaber from Galaxy's Edge. I do wish to get more. Hopefully next update I will have more. And then down here, got some Lego sets. The trash compactor. Snoke's throne room. Yoda's hut. Death Star escape. And one of my favorites, the final duel. So I switched out the Vader helmet for the older one. I don't know, that older Vader helmet, Lego Vader helmet, just hits different. We got more down here. Ahsoka V Maul, the Great Pit of Carkoon, Jedi Bob Starfighter, Mando's N1, the Duel on Naboo, and Luke's hut. And then moving on from there, we got some carded figures from various toy lines throughout the years. So sort of the concept behind this section is to sort of a way of preserving Star Wars toy history. So that's why I've got some carded figures from different toy lines. And also my goal now is to collect the mains from different movies. So I got Anakin and Obi-Wan from Attack of the Clones, from Revenge of the Sith, and then Rey and Kylo from The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. So I need to get my hands on some carded episode 1 figures. But right now I'm loving how this is taking shape. May not be the neatest looking thing, but it's a work in progress. And I do love looking at these things. It does make me quite nostalgic for toy stores back in the day. And then to the left from there, got my next cabinet, which is a bunch of figures from other Star Wars media. So at the top of that, we have some various vehicles, the Republic Attack Shuttle, the ARC 170 fighter, droid tank, and Anakin Obi-Wan's Jedi Starfighters, along with some in-box figures, the Black Series Grievous, and some Disney exclusives. And then we even got Kit Fisto's fighter over there. Not the best place to put him, but it's the best I can do with what space is available at the moment. So now, we got, I think, the most massive display. We got Star Wars animation, so that's Clone Wars, Rebels, and the Bad Batch. So I'll just go through it as quickly as I could. We got a lot of characters from the Clone Wars. It's just crazy. Like, this storyline, in my eyes, was legendary. We got so many different characters in this awesome animation style, and they were all super articulated, very well done. I have a lot of nostalgia for these figures. Like, yeah, you see that those clone sculpts, Hasbro really made the most out of them. I think the storytelling potential of the Clone Wars just opened the door to us knowing a lot more characters, a lot more stories. And it's great that we got a lot of these characters in figure form. There we got the mains in their season 1 looks. This is by far my favorite Yoda figure. Like, ball jointed elbows on a Yoda, that was crazy at the time. And then Palpatine, the Clone Wars Darth Sidious. And then other series, we got Hauser and Hunter from the Bad Batch. Hasbro, it's been 5 years. Like, where's the rest of them? But I'll stand on my soapbox another day. We got Star Wars Rebels here, the main crew. Thrawn and Agent Kalos, the Inquisitors, Vader, Rex, and Ahsoka, Maul, Vizago, and Leia with some stormtroopers. We got the ATDP Walker on this side, and then Cad Bane on his speeder bike on the other. So it's by far one of my favorite things to look at. Look, that's absolutely massive. And below that, we got the New Republic era of TV shows, starting here with the Book of Boba Fett. We got Boba on his throne, Tusken Boba with his chieftain, Cad Bane, Cobb Vanth, a Pike soldier. And at the center here, we got the Mandalorian. There's a lot of different characters from that show. And then all the Mandalorian characters out here. We got Mando and Grogu, Bo-Katan and the Armorer, Moff Gideon, and we're moving into Ahsoka. Got Ahsoka, Sabine, and Chopper. Baylan Skull. I have him propped up a little by a box over here, just so that he's taller than Shin. Thrawn, Morgan Elsbeth, Anakin with Vader looming over him. Once again, Vader looming over things, and young Ezra. And down at the front, we got one of my favorite things from New Star Wars, Skeleton Crew. Guys, if you haven't watched it yet, you gotta watch it. It's such a unique take on the Star Wars universe. So we got Neil, Wim, Fern, and KB. We got Jod over here, wielding his lightsaber, ready to bully children. And then next up, we got a hodgepodge of other live action Star Wars media, from TV shows to the standalone movies. So starting here with the Acolyte, got May and Osha, Master Soul, Jackie, Yord, Vernestra Rowe, and Indara. And then Solo, Tobias Beckett, L3, Lando, Kira, and then the duo themselves, Obi-Wan Kenobi, the Jedi legend Obi-Wan, and the awesome battle damaged Vader, Reva, Ned B, the Inquisitors, Tika the Jawa, and the Ghost of Qui-Gon. And then moving on to Rogue One and Andor. Spell Dedra Miro and Director Krennic, Saw Gerrera. Now the front, we got the man himself, Andor, with Mon Mothma. And then over here at the edge, the Rogue One crew. And then below that, got my expanded universe, Star Wars Legends, and some other media. So over there, we got the Force Awakens IMAX poster and some artwork that my friend made me. The Disney Parks figures of the Disney characters portraying Star Wars characters. The Outlander comic, the Macquarie Vader, and the Infinity's light side Darth Vader. Kolteska from the Clone Wars video game, and Plo Koon from the Clone Wars comic. Bastila Shan, Darth Malgus, Mara Jade and Jason, Darth Plagueis, Starkiller and his clone, and Juno Eclipse, Ram Koda, Quinlan Voss, Biggs, and the Power of the Force, Anakin Skywalker. Sort of to represent people's imaginations of him before the prequels came out. And down here at the front, we got one of my favorite EU media, the 2003 Clone Wars. And the best version of Grievous ever. I just love the animated style, and seeing them together like that makes me nostalgic. We got the Funko Pop of Ronin, the Astromech droid from Rise of the Resistance. Once again, if any of you are going to Galaxy's Edge anytime soon, you gotta get on that ride. It's life-changing. And then Jedi Bob from Rebuild the Galaxy. And then below all of that, we got my Grand Army of the Republic / Empire / First Order. So I'll do all my troopers. And then some vehicles behind them. The ATST, the Clone Cannon, an ATDP, and Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka. And then moving on from that, we've got my desk setup, where I put all of my non-Star Wars stuff. So mostly Funko Pops and Legos. I got some other stuff as well. So flanking me as I work are all of my inbox pops. A bunch of hodgepodge, really, of different pieces of media I consume, different characters I like, from action adventures to like Star Wars to rom-coms like Mean Girls and High School Musical. So at the top over there, we got the Wizard of Oz Funko Pop poster with Dorothy and her friends in front. Such a classic film. For me, this is just a childhood movie that will never lose its magic, no matter how old and jaded I may get. Got an adventure series, Indiana Jones, with the Funko Pop moment. Such an iconic scene. And then a Lego DeLorean with Doc and Marty from NECA Toys. And over here are all the Disney stuff. So the Lego Haunted Mansion, one of my favorite rides. Mickey from Fantasia. The Peter Pan's flight moment. And Hercules on Pegasus. Some more Disney Funkos. Buzz and Woody. Well, Pixar, but mainly Disney. Frozone, Mike and Sully, Steamboat Willie, Mickey Mouse, Quasimodo, and Kronk. Below that, we got more classic Disney characters. Then moving down here, all my Marvel stuff, Marvel Legends, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, and some of the Avengers in Funko Pop form. And then we got Miles, Gwen, and Peter B. Parker from the Spider-Verse movies. Some animation. Double-decker couch from the Lego movie, He-Man, Jimmy Neutron, Finn and Jake from Adventure Time, Daffy Duck, Scooby-Doo, and then not animation, but 11 in the Rainbow Room. And then below that, one of my favorite things to look at now, we got Team Avatar. Finally, Funko came up with a Season 3 Zuko with some fire, though in the deluxe version, but nevertheless, I think it works. I'm so happy now that after a long time of collecting and waiting, I finally have the rest of the main Team Avatar. So now they got a shelf of their own. Just love that series. Such an iconic, amazing, well-told story. And now that they have their own shelf, I may want to pick up some other characters like Suki and Uncle Iroh. Below that, my favorite band, the Beatles, with their Yellow Submarine. And some more music royalty, Michael Jackson, Freddie Mercury, and Elvis Presley. So 2 kings and a queen. And then some childhood figures of mine from the 2003 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And then moving to the other side, got some of my DC collectibles. So the Adam West Batman series with the Lego Batmobile. The SH Figure Awards Batman and Heath Ledger Joker from The Dark Knight. Funko Pops of Jim Gordon and the Penguin from Gotham. Flash and Reverse Flash. And at the back there, we got the Arkham Joker. And down here, some of my favorite figures to collect outside of Star Wars. We got the DC Collectibles, Batman the Animated Series figures. Such awesome character designs. And then these are Funko Pops from some musicals. So Hamilton and Grease. I would love to have some of the Wicked Pops, but I moved too slowly. So hopefully next collection update, I should be able to have them. And then some more of classic characters here. Tom and Jerry, Vito Corleone and Michael, Sam and Frodo, Elliot and E.T., Snape and Remus Lupin, and Count Dracula. And over here we got Pattinson, Robert Pattinson's Batman with Selena. At the bottom most, we got the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers from the Lightning Collection and the Legacy Power Morpher. So don't mind the cord, this is where I put all my chargers. And then over here, some video game characters. So the Mishimas from Tekken, Ezio from Assassin's Creed, and Luigi, the SHF Luigi from Super Mario Brothers, and my very first Pokemon starter, Bulbasaur. Yeah, don't judge. And then lastly, the biggest update to my collection, I've got some new cabinets to display most of my 1/6 scale figures. Above that, got some odds and ends along with my carded retro collection figures. For someone who had no means and was not around to get these vintage figures, the retro line is a welcome addition. And over here we got the Revenge of the Sith poster from Hasbro with all the figures from that line. Miss when they did that, and then I also sort of peppered it with various promotions and exclusive stickers from throughout the years. Starting here, we got my sequel characters, Finn, Rey, and Kylo Ren, and BB-8. Moving down from there, we got the deluxe Mando with Grogu, some Jedi Masters with Mace Windu, and then oldies but goodies, Sideshow Qui-Gon Jinn facing off against Sideshow Maul. I do hope to be getting the newly released Maul soon. And on the other side, we got Obi-Wan and Anakin from Revenge of the Sith. Obi-Wan's from Sideshow, and the fantastic Hot Toys Anakin is by far, and still to this day, my favorite piece in the collection. Moving down to Clone Wars Ahsoka with Captain Rex and a Sideshow Commander Cody. The Return of the Jedi, Luke Skywalker. Another oldie but a goodie, but one that I got for an absolute steal. So I'm glad to finally have him in the collection. And like, I got it used and the boots aren't flaky at all, which is amazing. And then below that, we got the Showdown on Crate with Kylo facing off against Crate Luke. So yeah, this is perhaps the biggest update to my collection. I really like it. Compared to how it was last time where the Hot Toys figures were quite crowded, I do like spreading them out this way. I think it makes each individual piece shine. So that's it. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed having a look at my collection. If you like what you see, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And follow me at Diego Collects on Instagram and TikTok. I post there more often, so join me as I traverse this awesome hobby. Happy May the 4th, and I hope to see you guys next time. Whenever that is. Maybe next year. Okay, bye.